Are you lying on your couch, wondering if your girlfriend is out partying and being unfaithful to you? Are you tired of the constant nights of wild partying and the feeling of unease that follows? What if I told you that one innocent bet could change everything? And just like that, the innocent bet turns into a game of high stakes and dangerous consequences. Are you intrigued? Buckle up, because this story will take you on a wild ride. It was a Friday night, and I was at the club with my friend Brian. As we stood at the bar, I took in the details of the sleek, modern decor with dim lighting and pulsing music that made conversation difficult. Bartenders in crisp white shirts and black vests were expertly mixing drinks, while waitstaff in black uniforms weaved through the crowds with trays of colourful cocktails and shots. The smell of alcohol and cologne mingled in the air, and I could feel the crowd's energy as they danced and laughed around us. I glanced over to where my girlfriend was dancing with her friends, and as I turned back to Brian, I noticed a mischievous grin on his face. He took a sip of his drink before making a hurtful comment about my girlfriend, all while continuing to look in her direction. "What's on your mind?" I asked, curious. Brian then made a hurtful and baseless comment about my girlfriend, suggesting she would cheat on me, given the right opportunity. I felt hurt and disappointed by his words, and I let him know that it was not okay to make accusations about someone without evidence. He sipped his drink and looked at me with a mischievous grin. "You know, I bet your girlfriend can't resist a good party," he said. I raised an eyebrow, intrigued. "Well, I bet she'll cheat on you if given the right opportunity," he replied confidently. I shook my head in disbelief. "No way, she wouldn't do that." My friend just chuckled. "Wanna make a bet on it?" And that's how it all started, with a conversation at a club fueled by alcohol and bravado. But little did I know that bet would eventually lead to the biggest betrayal of my life. The bet my friend and I made was simple. He bet that my girlfriend would cheat on me at the next party she went to, and I bet that she wouldn't. It was a high-stakes wager, with $50 and a pack of cigarettes on the line. At first, I didn't take the bet seriously. I trusted my girlfriend, and I didn't think she would do anything to betray me. And many days went by, and we both forgot about the bet. I knew my girlfriend had a wild streak and loved to party, but I didn't think she would do something like cheat on me. Still, the thought nagged at me, and I watched her every move, looking for any signs of infidelity. My girlfriend and I had been together for almost 2 years. We met at a college party. It was my first semester, and I didn't know many people on campus yet. I had tagged along with a friend to the party where I first saw her. She was talking and laughing with a group of people, and she caught my eye immediately. I remember feeling nervous about approaching her, but I didn't want to miss the opportunity to talk to her. So I went to the group and conversed with her. We hit it off right away, and we spent the rest of the night talking and laughing together. After the party, we exchanged numbers and started texting and hanging out more often. It wasn't long before we started dating, and we quickly became inseparable. She was outgoing, adventurous, and always up for a good time, which drew me to her in the first place. I was more of a homebody, but I loved her energy and spirit. We had a lot of fun together initially, going on adventures, exploring new places, and trying new things. But over time, I got tired of the constant partying and socializing. I preferred to spend my weekends at home playing video games or working on side projects. Meanwhile, my girlfriend would go out with her friends almost every weekend, often coming home late. We had talked about our different lifestyles before, but we never really came to a resolution. I knew she loved to party, and I didn't want to hold her back from that, but I also felt I was missing quality time with her. As the nights passed, I grew increasingly tired of my girlfriend's wild party lifestyle. She would go out with her friends almost every weekend, leaving me alone in our apartment to play games or work overtime. I didn't mind at first, but it eventually wore on me. One weekend, I was particularly burnt out from work and decided to stay home and relax. As the night wore on, my girlfriend started calling and texting me, but I was too engrossed in my game to answer. Little did I know that decision would lead to one of the worst nights of my life. As the night wore on and I continued to ignore her calls, she grew increasingly frustrated and decided to seek out some company elsewhere. That's when she turned to Brian. Brian usually used to go to parties with us. My girlfriend was a real party animal, and she loved nothing more than going out with her wild and crazy friends every weekend. As much as I loved her, her fantastic ways were starting to take a toll on our relationship. Although I trusted my girlfriend, I couldn't help but feel uneasy about her turning to someone else for company. I realized that we needed to have a serious conversation about our differing lifestyles and the toll it was taking on our relationship. As I sat on my couch that Saturday night, the rain relentlessly pouring outside, I couldn't help but wonder what my girlfriend was up to at that party. She had a reputation for being a party animal, and I grew tired of her wild ways. Just then, my phone buzzed with a message from my friend Brian, who happened to be at the same party as my girlfriend. He texted, "It's the right time to fulfill that bet we made the other day." My heart sank as I remembered our bet about my girlfriend's fidelity. At the time, I had naively agreed, never expecting that it could happen. Brian had suggested it, claiming he had a way with the ladies and was sure he could seduce her. I had foolishly taken him up, never expecting it to happen. But now, with Brian's message staring back at me, I felt a pit in my stomach. Could it be true? Was my girlfriend cheating on me with my friend? I anxiously waited for my girlfriend to come home, but as the hours ticked by, I grew increasingly worried. She had promised to be home in an hour, but she hadn't shown up all night. I tried calling her, but her phone was off. I sent her multiple texts, but received no response. As I lay on the couch, my mind raced with many terrible scenarios. During the night that my girlfriend cheated on me with Brian, he sent me a text letting me know the details. I had been fast asleep then and didn't see the message until the following day. But when I did, I felt sick to my stomach. The text was short and to the point. Brian had written, "Sorry man, but I won the bet. She cheated on you with me last night." I couldn't believe it. I had suspected something might be happening between them, but I never thought it would happen. As I looked up from my book the following day, I was surprised to see my girlfriend walk through the door with a strange expression. She seemed to be nervous and uncomfortable, which was unusual for her. "What's wrong?" I asked, trying to hide the concern in my voice. She looked at me and went straight to the bathroom, avoiding eye contact. She looked like she had just woken up from a long, tiring night. Her hair was a mess and her makeup was smudged. As she stepped into the bathroom, I could hear the sound of the shower turning on. I sat there in silence for a moment. Returning from the bathroom, she took a deep breath and finally mustered the courage to speak. "I'm sorry," she said, her voice shaky. "Can we talk?" she replied hesitantly, avoiding my gaze. I knew something was off, and my heart sank as I braced myself for what was coming next. My heart sank as I braced myself for the worst. "I cheated on you last night with Brian," she blurted out. My mind went blank momentarily as I tried to process her confession. I felt mixed emotions, from hurt and betrayal to anger and confusion. "How could you do this to me?" I finally managed to say. She explained that she had been drinking heavily and had made a mistake. At some point in the night, Brian had made a move on her, and she had given in to temptation. She said she regretted it and that it would never happen again. But it was too late. The damage was already done. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I felt like my world was crumbling around me. I had never been betrayed like this before, and it was the worst feeling in the world. "Why did you even go to the party without me?" I asked, trying to make sense of the situation. "I thought we were supposed to do everything together." She looked up at me, tears streaming down her face. "I know. And I'm sorry. I just wanted to have a little fun with my friends. I didn't think it would lead to this." I looked at her, my heart heavy with disappointment and anger. "I already knew," I said, my voice barely above a whisper. Her eyes widened in shock and guilt. "How?" she asked, her voice trembling. I took a deep breath and finally told her about the bet Brian and I made. At first, she looked at me in disbelief. Then her expression turned to anger. She began shouting at me, demanding to know how I could do something like that. I tried to explain that it was a stupid bet and that I didn't think she would cheat on me, but she wouldn't listen. She was screaming at the top of her lungs, calling me every name in the book. As she continued to shout at me, I had had enough. I shut her down and told her to leave my apartment. She stormed out, slamming the door behind her. I was left feeling betrayed and hurt. Her cheating confession was a punch to the gut, and I struggled to understand everything. I felt like a part of me had been ripped away. I loved her with all my heart, and now it felt like she had thrown that love back in my face. As she tried to explain her actions, I couldn't help but feel like it was all excuses. The trust between us had been broken, and I didn't know if it could ever be repaired. After leaving the apartment, my now ex-girlfriend took to social media and started posting about our breakup. She made it seem like she was the one who initiated the split, and that I was just a weak and pathetic man who couldn't handle her lifestyle. She posted pictures of herself partying with friends and captioned them with snide remarks about how betas couldn't keep up with her. I couldn't believe how she was trying to make me look bad, especially after what she had done. I knew I had to take action and defend myself. So I contacted Brian, and we decided to post the full story online. We laid out all the details, including the bet we made and how my girlfriend had cheated on me with Brian. We clarified that she was in the wrong and that I had every right to end things with her. The response to our post was overwhelming. People were shocked by my ex-girlfriend's behavior and her attempt to turn the situation around on me. Many people reached out to offer their support and words of encouragement. Meanwhile, my ex-girlfriend became the laughingstock of social media. People couldn't believe that she had cheated on me for a pack of cigarettes and $50, and that she dared to try to spin the story in her favor. My ex-girlfriend's reputation was in tatters. Her attempt to make me look bad had backfired, and she was now the subject of ridicule on social media. People couldn't believe she would cheat on me for a trivial reason and then try to paint me as the bad guy. I won't lie, it was satisfying to see her get her comeuppance. But at the end of the day, I knew I had dodged a bullet. I didn't want to be with someone who would cheat on me and try to make me look like the bad guy. I moved on from her and found someone who shared my values and respected me. After we posted the full story online and received overwhelming support, Brian and I took some time to process everything. We talked about how we both felt betrayed by my ex-girlfriend and were disappointed that someone we trusted could do something like that. After some reflection, Brian and I decided to put the whole thing behind us and move forward. We knew that we couldn't change what had happened, but we could choose how we reacted to it. We both learned valuable lessons about trust and relationships, and we were determined to use those lessons to make better decisions in the future. Overall, the experience taught Brian and me to be more cautious when trusting others and never to compromise our values. We learned that even when someone we care about betrays us, we can still rise above it and use the experience as an opportunity for growth. One lesson to be learned from this experience is the devastating impact of betrayal and cheating in a relationship. When trust is broken, it can be difficult, if not impossible, to repair. In this case, the girlfriend's actions not only ended the relationship but also caused emotional pain and humiliation for her former partner. It's essential to recognize that cheating and betraying someone's trust can have long-lasting consequences, and it's necessary to prioritize honesty and integrity in any relationship.